I'm not going to recognize any other candidates or officers. This is for the council opponents tonight. And the next thing is, would y'all please rise, and Mr. Doty will lead us in invocation.
Thank you very much. Let's bow our heads. Dear God in heaven, thank you for bringing us all here tonight. Help us to become informed, to make good decisions, so that we can do the right things in your name. And it is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Adams, Brian Adams, is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I've got a couple of announcements to make. First of all, my name is Bill Bates. I am the acting chairperson for the Goose Creek 912. We meet here the first Thursday of every month at 7 o'clock. So our next meeting is this coming Thursday, and it so happens that our speakers are Mr. T. Cack and Mayor Heitzler. So we would love to have you all come. They'll be speaking from 7:45 on. Okay, that's announcement number one. Announcement number two, on the 12th of April, there is a Liberty Rally downtown at the Customs House. That's a Saturday, 12 April, from 1 to 3 p.m. And it's sponsored by the grassroots people. Notice I did not say Tea Party, I said grassroots people. So we would love, there's going to be music, we've got speakers, and there's going to be candidates there, but they're not going to be campaigning. They're there, and they're going to give speeches concerning liberty. Now, having said that, this is what the Goose Creek 912 is all about. The Goose Creek 912 Project Group is dedicated to defend, support, and work to restore the principles and values of the Constitution, individual liberty, and limited government on which the United States of America was founded by means of open debate and education. We focus on constitutional studies and the impact of local, state, and national politics. So again, I want to welcome all of you to the first ever public sponsored candidate forum for the Goose Creek government. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Steve Doty, who is our moderator, and he will explain the rules.
Very easy. Just don't throw things at each other. The truth is, I am Steve Doty, and I don't know if I've met everybody in here or not. Probably not. Let me get a show of hands of the people in this room that do not know all of the people sitting up front. And you might know one or two, but if you don't know all of them, let me see a show of hands. Awesome. So that's what this is about. I get a microphone in my hand. It's like, man, I've never met a microphone I didn't like, and I do like to talk, and there's a lot of things to say. But what we're doing right now is probably one of the most important events that you could imagine, because it helps form the direction of our country. It does it at the lowest levels. It's where it really can affect us. This is the opportunity for everyone in this room to look at people in the eye and say, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? And what do you believe? And how do you believe it? And how do you think you should spend my money? That's always a big one. What do you think this town, what direction should we go in? And what was it? Friday night, Bill, we had a big meeting, and we watched videos. And just watching the videos, I was pretty set in my way. I'm thinking who I'm going to support to lead me. And all of a sudden, wow, that don't make sense. Look at this other person. So until you've met all the candidates, until you've met all the people that want to lead us, you're really doing the right thing. Let's make sure I get that microphone so you hear me. But it's I don't know, I can get all passionate, fired up, and all, but this is the right thing to do. So I expect, and I hope, and you're going to run me to death. Let's see if it's going to cut off the moment. Run me to death. But one of the things that makes it real easy is to realize and recognize that the person with the microphone, with the loudest voice, I don't know if that microphone's going to work, it'll drive me crazy, but the person with the loudest voice, and normally it's the person with the microphone, we'll try it again. Bill, I was talking good about it, I don't know if it's going to work, we tested it, but try to keep it to one person at a time, and we'll let these folks introduce themselves, kind of give us an idea where they're coming from. We'll do 5 minutes, it should be easy and impromptu. Maybe you got some notes there, you can read whatever you need to, but 5 minutes, and then let's do some questions. And the questions, David Barton, somebody that I admire, said that he can ask a candidate one question and determine what direction that person will go on almost all issues. And it's kind of a personal question, but there's no limit on the questions you can ask these people. Anybody sitting there saying, what is that question?
I know what that question is.
What's that question?
Where do you stand on abortion?
That's right. That's right. Very personal issue. But when you know where somebody stands on a subject that is as important as life, where do they stand on that? It tells you which direction they're going to go. And if you don't know what direction they're going, you don't have any business following them. It reminds me of an old story. If you don't know where you're going, you ain't going to get there or something like that. So, with that being said, let's take the far end. And we've got kind of a unique person up here. She's just going to introduce her candidate. She is not the candidate, but she can give us the information. If I walk down here, look at this microphone, don't go. Crazy on it. Be easier. Floor is yours. You've got 5 minutes, up to as much as you want there.
Good evening. First, I would like to thank all of you for being here tonight. Due to unavoidable medical appointment, Tori Morrell, who is running for a seat on the City Council, was unable to be here tonight to speak with you all. She did try to reschedule her appointment, but after her unsuccessful attempt, she requested that I just briefly speak on her behalf. She has resided and worked in the city of Goose Creek for 24 years with her family. She is a strong contender and is prepared to emulate the phenomenal success as Ms. Marguerite Brown has done during her admiral tenure as a city council member and her tenacious dedication to the city of Goose Creek. With that being said, her phrase, building a better Goose Creek together, has become incumbent to her and others who believe as she does, which is to take affirmative action and maintain focus on keeping revenue, growth, and jobs within the city. She believes in moving forward and balancing the economic development of our city. A powerful statement has been made in our city. Goose Creek is a desired place to live, and this has been clearly delivered in the continual rapid growth of new homes. She believes it is important to encourage and actively recruit businesses to join our city, both commercial and small, keeping the revenue in our city, allowing for job opportunities for our residents, and keeping the funds and taxes from burning the citizens of Goose Creek. She believes that by working together, we can succeed as a community, thus building a better Goose Creek together and providing a customer service that is unforgettable. She is also a proud supporter of Jerry Teacat and his run for mayor, and please remember to show your support and vote on April 8th. I appreciate your attention and appreciate the fact that you listened to me on behalf of Victoria Morrell, and the fact that she couldn't be here. We do apologize.
Good enough. I say good enough. That took about 1:38. And I know it was prepared, and I know you're not the person who said this. Do I need this, or can you all hear me okay?
If you hold it away, I think it's better.
Hold it away.
Not that far.
Okay, right about there. I like it on my chin. I don't know if that'll help. Try to be consistent with it. But thank you very much. And we'll see your candidate around. Very good. Very good. That's the way to do it. If you've got a person that you believe strongly and you want to get them to every event you can, you want to get to know every person, know them as well as they can, know where they stand. Like I said, that was about 1:38, so it doesn't take long to give a prepared spiel. I'm going to be very basic here, I guess. But if you want to dress it up a little bit, tell us as much as you can. We'll run right up the line, and y'all can take up to 5 minutes, okay? I'll give you a warning when we get down toward that time frame. There you go.
Can you hear me? I don't want to cut in and out, so I just talk from my diaphragm here. I'm come out. Is it okay?
Sure.
Well, my name is Gerald Stinson. I'm, of course, a candidate for the city of Goose Creek. I was born in Chester, South Carolina, and I came here in the mid-'80s. I moved to North Charleston. I was around active duty Air Force, and after I got back to the Air Force, I went into the reserves. I later retired from the Air Force Reserve after being deployed several times for Operation Iraqi Freedom. After that, I also worked at St. D. Cooper. I also retired from St. D. Cooper at the age of 46. So that tells you right there I know how to plan. At 46, I'm retired. I just wait on my check to be deposited in my account. So that tells you that I plan ahead. I have been married for 21 years. And I was telling somebody earlier about being married for 21 years, and they said, well, how many wives? Because I've been married for 30 years, and I've had 3 wives. But I've been married for 21 years to the same wife. My wife here is Terry, and my son Antonio, he's 17. He's a junior at Stratford High School. He brought some of his friends along. My education, I went to Charleston Southern with my good friend Stephen. We both went to CSU. I actually attended Baptist College, but I graduated from Charleston Southern because I was the first class with the new name. I graduated in 1990 with my BS, and I went back and got my MBA and graduated in 96 with my MBA. Like I said, I served in the military. I served 13 years as an enlisted member. And then I don't know if I got wise or got dumb. I got a commission as an officer, and I spent the last 7 years as a commissioned officer in the United States Air Force Reserves. And let me just say, I'm all about service. I served my country for over 20 years. I've deployed to some places that were not friendly. I put my life on the line for everyone who's in this building. I serve my God. I've been a member of a church my entire life. I'll now serve as a deacon at True Way Missionary Baptist Church, which is located in Somerville. I'm about service. I serve my community. I have been a mentor. I have been volunteer in lunch buddies, read with the child. I've been on United Way community involvement review teams. I'm all about service. And that is why I'm running for City Council of Goose Creek. It's about serving you. It's about serving the people of Goose Creek. It's not about Gerald. If it was about Gerald, I'll be at home enjoying my retirement. But it's about the almost 40,000 people in the city of Goose Creek. That is my team. My team is every citizen of Goose Creek. That is why I'm running. I'm running for the team, Goose Creek. I want to be a representative because I believe in this city. I've lived in this city for over 17 years. And I love this city. My wife, when we were looking to move, she's from Oakland, up near Moncks Corner. And as we were looking at where we were going to move, she said she wanted to be in the middle. And she considers the middle between Oakland and Charleston. So we right here in Goose Creek, it's a perfect location. It's a perfect city. We want to continue to keep it that way. One of my plans for the city of Goose Creek, we want to continue to have it grow. We got to be aggressive in bringing in new business. We got to be creative. We got to think outside the box. You know, so many times as children, when you color, if you color outside the lines, you got scolded. But that's creativity. You got to sometimes go outside the box. Sometimes you got to think differently. Because if you always think the same way, you'll always get the same results. If you keep doing the same thing, you get the same results. So we want different results in the city of Goose Creek. We got to do something different. And I am that different because I'm the one who's going to think differently. I'm going to come up with innovative ways of the way we can do things. I'm going to meet with everybody. We have to meet with our stakeholders. I was talking to a small business owner the other day that was having some problems, struggling, making ends meet. We as a city need to reach out to these small businesses and help them. We got to be there for them. We got to be about being in the community and not just sitting in our office. We have to be out there with the people. And as I walk and talk to people, I realize that there are some people out there that are in need. We have to find a way to reach those people. That's another reason why I'm running for the city of Goose Creek. Because I want to be there for those people. I want to be a voice for all people. Because I love this city. Like I said, my team is 40,000 strong. Because I represent all citizens of Goose Creek. And I actually consider both of me for city council every day. God bless. Thank you.
Your timing was awesome. Excellent. And I hope what they're doing is generating some questions. I hope y'all are listening to them, making notes as you go along, and say, oh, wait a minute, ask this guy about this. Where did he serve? What did he do there? And that'll get this going the way we need it to go. And you want this microphone?
Try it on for size.
Okay,
There's your 5 minutes.
I'm Mark Phillips. I've been a council member for 20 years. I just want to tell you a little bit about me, because I think a person's background tells as much about them as about anything. I was raised on a farm in South Dakota, far from here. I think it's something that I grew up with that almost nobody can say. I went to country school for 8 years. And one of those years, I went to horse school. So I'm pretty well grounded in a basic countryside type guy. I went to school at South Dakota State University and became a civil engineer. And I went to work for the Army Corps of Engineers. Ended up in Charleston, South Carolina, came here in 1979 to work for a couple of years on a project. And I'm still here. This was a good place. My wife is a long-time educator. She converted, went back to school while we were living here. Second career from a dental hygienist to a teacher, and spent a lot of years at Westview Middle School and some other places. Raised 2 kids here. One of them wanted to go somewhere else. Now both of them want to come back. But anyway, my son is a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. He's a pilot. Lives up in Virginia. My daughter is also in Virginia. Just got married 2 weeks ago. And she's in fashion merchandising and living there in Alexandria, Virginia. After I retired from the Corps in 2003, and I worked for a year and a half. I was the director of Helping Hands of Goose Creek, which is our local food pantry here in Goose Creek. So that was a very pet project of mine. I worked with Helping Hands for 25 years. I was one of the founding members of it. And then I served on the board of directors, president, vice president, and then ended up as director for that year and a half. Then I went back to work in my field. Been working on construction projects. I'm a quality control manager. I work on Cambridge High School, Stoll High School, working on the Wando Career Technology Academy. One of these days I'm going to pull the trigger to retire, but I just can't seem to do it. But I'm about service too. I've been in reserve for 15 years. An Army officer, got my commission while I was in college, and then stayed on in reserve. But I want to continue my service to the city. I think I have a perspective that most people don't have. I have a professional background. The city has grown a lot since I've been on city council. I sat down and made a list of all the things that the city has done project-wise. Well over 20 projects that the city has done since I've been on city council from 1986. Significant projects, City Hall, Public Works Facility, now we're building a new fire station. And I think I offer a perspective, having been in the public service sector in the federal government, and that other people, no one else has on our city council. And now I'm working in the private sector for construction contractors. I support the strategic planning process that the city goes through. Not one person is going to determine the direction of the city. If they think they are, they're sadly mistaken. We work together. We have a strategic planning process that we've been going on for since before I was on city council. But we get together and we get public input. We come up with a strategic plan, we wrestle, we debate, we don't always agree. We come up with a plan, we update our plan, and we try to implement, we try to move forward. We have 1-year goals, 5-year goals, 20-year goals. It's important that the city have a defined vision going forward, and not always weaving, bobbing, depending on who's on council, who the mayor is. We have that plan. It's written. It's like 4 pages long, and we'll be going over that again in May to update it. We have also tried to stay, since I've been on council, with essential services. There's a lot of opportunities to go into areas, do things that really aren't essential. We have struggled and resisted greatly with the ability for the temptation to go into areas that are outside of the essential service area. We concentrate on police, fire, sanitation, and recreation. So I will continue to do that and support that plan. Thank you.
I know many of you out there. My name's Timo Esrich. I'm currently the broker in charge for Caldwell Banker. You need the microphone? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm Timo Esrich. I'm the current broker in charge for Caldwell Banker here in Goose Creek. I've lived in the city of Goose Creek since 1980. Moved down here from Virginia. Went to James Madison University, got a degree in business administration and office management with a concentration in computer science and mathematics and a whole lot of other things, because I think I changed my major a number of times. Been married to my wife here, Marty, who's sitting right up here. She's a school teacher 34 years, and we've been married for 36 years. All right? 36 years. All 37 this year. Anyway, I've got 3 kids. 2 of them are married. I've got 5 grandkids. Got one at USC. She's in honors college. They all graduated through Stratford High School, except my last one. She actually went to the government school in Greenville, played clarinet, and was wonderful at that, but didn't use any of it going to the USC. Is actually going into international business. So keep your fingers crossed she gets in there, because that's a hard one to get into. It's one of the best in the country. I love the city of Goose Creek. I've been a servant, I think, of the public for all my life. I helped build Crowfield. I was with Westvaco Development. Spent 28 years with Westvaco, me and Westvaco. We built Crowfield, we built Oakbrook of Somerville, Ashbury, East Ashboro, Huntington Farms. I know what it takes to build communities. I've been involved in it pretty much all my adult life. Worked with the YMCA, was vice president of the YMCA in Somerville until actually had a call from the city and asked if I would serve on the recreation department, Goose Creek Parks and Playgrounds. I spent 8 years there as a member, and I think 4 or 6 years as a chairman. And then Linda McCrae left the city, and they asked me to serve on city council, and I did, and I've been on city council for 16 years. I love the city of Goose Creek. I think it's a great place to raise a family. I think what we've done in the past is wonderful. We've made a place for all of us to come home to and live. We've done what we planned on doing. We planned on making it a residential community, and we've done a good job of it. I think as we go forward, there are a lot of things that can be done going forward. I think there is some commercial growth possibilities, opportunities. We've actually hired a consultant to come in. We've had an economic development committee for years. We've asked that consultant, my question to him was, tell us what we can do. And I don't say floundered, we've done well. We could do better with economic development. It's something that is hard for us because of where we're located. We don't have a defined downtown. I think it's something we've tried to do. We've tried to make the downtown area right now better. We spend a lot of money doing that. I think there are some possibilities, but we're actually waiting for that answer right now. We've asked him to come up and tell us what we can do. If there's nothing we can do, that's fine. That's an answer. Tell us what we can do there, and we'll go forward with that. Other things that I've done, I've worked on the Berkeley County Career Technology. I spend a lot of time to the schools, and I advise all you young guys out there, the best thing to know is learn to know your banker and know your principal at schools, because they can really help you out with your kids. But I've worked on that. I was a member of the board of directors of the Education Foundation for actually Berkeley County. I helped start that one. And for the Charleston Chamber of Commerce, came off of that, I guess, a year and a half, 2 years ago. But like I say, I spend a lot of time working for the public and working for you as citizens. I will reiterate a little bit what Mark said, that we spend hours working on a strategic plan for the city. So to tell you that I'm going to bring something new to the table tonight would be kind of silly of me. I should have been doing it all along. And that's what we've done. We work on a strategic plan every year. This year, we've got 12 strategic items, and if you've been to city council, we actually go over every one of them every year. That's one is building the fire departments. We've done that. We built the recreation center. We did that. That was actually my first, what I really wanted done when I first got on city council. We did that. We built, expanded Feckle Field. We expanded the recreation center. We merged Goose Creek Parks and Playgrounds from its own entity, we struggled getting funds to city council, which was a great move on our part. I mean, it allows parks and playgrounds to get more funds than they had before and operate more efficiently. I think the city has got a lot of opportunities. I think we need to work on those. We need to grow with what we have, what's available. Orange Crossroads is 4,200 new homes. Next to down the road is going to be huge. It's got 13,000 new homes. We're going to have to find a way to provide the services for all these people that are coming in. I think my time's about up. But I appreciate you letting me serve. I look forward and hope I can serve for another 4 years. And I guess what I meant to do first actually was thank Bill and Barbara for putting this together for this new, what I call this historic moment, because it's the first time ever for this. Thank you very much.
Round 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I got to remind you every time. Be prepared with some questions. Okay? I think there's a lot of good questions. These folks have some questions. Real experience. Here you go.
Can everybody hear me? I'm Deborah Green Fletcher. I have been in the city of Goose Creek for 33 years. When I moved here, my daughter was 4 years old. I was a single parent. I started a career in real estate. I worked for Westvaco Development Real Estate. Crowfield Plantation, there were 6 homes, 3 in Cherry Hill and 3 in Stratford Forest. Everything was dirt. It gave me a good opportunity. I became a realtor. It gave me a good opportunity to help build the city of Goose Creek with selling homes to families, whether you had one in your family or whether you had 10. I always told my daughter, it was just 2 of us. We went to church. We were a family. She asked me, well, some other people have, more in their family. And I said, no, we're a family too, and that's what it's all about. I'm married to Thomas Fletcher. He's in the room. We've been married 14 years. I have a daughter. Her name is Jennifer Green. She lives in Arlington, Virginia. I put her through, she went to Westview Stratford. I put her through undergraduate at the University of South Carolina. Also put her through to get her master's degree myself. And then also she's now the Director of Communications for the Washington Metropolitan Transit Authority in Washington, D.C. So I'm very proud of that. I'm proud to be a mother and also was given the opportunity, which you don't want this all the time, but also a caregiver for my mother while I was also working. I love the city of Goose Creek. I believe in the city of Goose Creek. I am dedicated to do what's best for the city of Goose Creek for now and for future generations. My first responsibility is to protect you as taxpayers, to make sure that we spend your money responsibly. The city, we need growth. We need new businesses, new jobs. But you also have to make sure that you have the infrastructure there in place. We have the best fire department, we have the best sanitation department, and the police department, so we want to continue to keep those. I want to continue to cultivate the prosperity for the future generations and for everyone that is in the city of Goose Creek now, because the future generations are what's going to be the stability of the city is in the future. Also, I would like to work to expand the recreation department, the parks and the playgrounds. I have some dreams. I really don't know how much money's there to even do all this or if I can make some of those things happen. I'm new to this and I will admit that, but until, I would know all those details, but that is my dream because that is a part of what makes the generations or the children being able to be in the parks and playgrounds. When I first moved here, there wasn't hardly anything. Crowfield had a little ball team and we had to go to Somerville. And now we've grown to Feckle Field and all the people that have put in the hard work for the children. That's what makes them better citizens as they grow in the future. I would appreciate your vote. I will do a very good job for you and work very hard. I'm very approachable and accessible. I'm in a career, I sell real estate. I've been a realtor for 33 years. I'm called all the time. I answer all the questions. So I would do that if I became a member of the city council too. So I would appreciate your vote. And also I forgot to tell you about myself if I have time. I was raised in Mifflin, Ohio. I learned public service at a very young age. My grandfather in the late 1800s was mayor of our town. My father, my grandfather, and my uncle also served on council. So we were brought up in that environment to serve. And I studied at the University of South Carolina. And I would appreciate your vote, and I will be glad to answer. I'm sorry? I'm sorry?
The mic needs to be a little higher.
I'm sorry. I'm usually pretty loud. But I would appreciate your vote, and I will do the best that I can for the city of Goose Creek to continue to move us forward. Thank you.
Money and a lot of our community members participated in developing the comprehensive plan, which I think should be reflected in the strategic plan. And I'm wondering, as of this point in time, have the new candidates ever reviewed the comprehensive plan?
Fair question.
New candidates.
Yes, ma'am.
I do. I have read it. I have a copy of it. It's many, many pages. Once I started printing it, I didn't realize how many pages it was. I was very interested in it, but I have, now I won't say I read every page of it, but I have looked at it and I have printed it out, so yes, I have.
I have looked over, I'm also on the zoning board of appeals, so I'm familiar with it. I have not read it from cover to cover, but I understand the parts of it. So therefore, I haven't read it from cover to cover, but I am familiar with the comprehensive plan as a member of the zoning board of appeals. I actually just had training a few weeks ago on that type of area.
Is fair enough answer there? Yes, I guess. Sounds like both.
Is the lady representing the other candidate there?
She's not going to take questions.
I
Okay,
can
Mark?
answer that for you, sir. Yes, she has read it.
Okay, thank you. Mark?
In response, just to tie it on to that, we redid our comprehensive plan a couple of years ago, I believe it was, when we finished it. It's a document. It's a document that's required by state law for every municipality to have, and we redid it. And I was involved mostly with the economic development part of it. It's seven, I think there's 7 parts of the plan. I was on the Economic Development Advisory Committee, and we spent a good bit of time reviewing that economic development component of that plan. Also, our strategic plan that we have for the city has each goal that we have has mentions the community facilities or the element of the comprehensive plan that it applies to. So we tried to dovetail our strategic plan with the comprehensive plan.
Get your answers. Makes sense to you? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for the 3 candidates there. She's talking about expansion for the recreation center. What more can you guys do to the recreation center? And are y'all talking about all sports or just some sports in specific? Because I've been a part of Goose Creek United Soccer for a long time, and we were a traveling club, and Goose Creek Recreation did not support it at all. So I guess my question is, wow, you guys keep saying you're going to expand it. What more do you want to do to the rec center?
The
the soccer, what you're talking about, I guess you're interested, there's so many different elements to the Goose Creek Park and Playground, from football to basketball to soccer to gymnastics. It's amazing how it covers all sports. The expansion we've been talking about is basically probably the second phase of the recreation center as it exists now. And probably Jerry Glass out there, who's the chairman of the Park and Playground, could probably answer it better. It's meeting rooms, and this was actually a gymnastics facility, was what is in the second phase. There's actually a third phase as well, which is an aquatic phase, and I believe racquetball courts are in the second phase or third phase. Second, okay. But we have expanded soccer out at the fields near the reservoir field out there. We built a number of fields out there. We don't necessarily support a lot of traveling teams. At least we didn't when I was the chairman. That is more of an individual choice that you make. We try to. It'd be great if we could support all the baseball, basketball, all those to go to different places, but they usually have to raise their own funds. I was always a proponent of trying to equalize everything, but football and baseball seem to always get the big majority. But we spent many weekends traveling with gymnastics with my oldest, and we paid a lot of fees that I thought went to other sports, but that was okay. That was a choice we made. Can you support everything equally? I'm not sure you can. It's tough to decide, but it's usually the ones that come out to the meeting and talk to us that the ones that, squeaky wheel, you want to know the real truth about.
Is that your answer? You want another?
I'll address it also. Still feeling on to what Kimo said. I don't know, you probably read or heard about the KC Center. We recently had some problems over there with the roof, and we had to spend $50,000 to get the roof done a second time. That's where a lot of other activities go on. The biggest thing that goes on over there is gymnastics. And we've been told that by doing what we did, $50,000 roof repair, we probably extended the life of that facility 5 years maybe. There's other problems there too that we hope will hold off. So we're looking at. I think the city council has not sat down and made a specific commitment to anything, but it appears like the logical thing would be that we're going to have to add on to the new rec center and take the activities that are at KC and move them over there sometime in the next few years. But that hasn't been decided specifically by city council. We haven't made that commitment, but that seems to be the direction we're moving.
Can the other two candidates respond to that?
Sure, I can.
So you're more than welcome. Yeah, you're more than welcome to respond here.
Okay. I would like to see, there is a big need. Can you hear me now? There is a big need, and I don't even know that this is possible, but there's a big need for a swimming facility. I know Kimo's mentioned racquetball courts, but I have neighbors that their children have been on swim teams for a long time. And it's the way our country is going for our health. And we live where we have a lot of water. But like I said, I'm new. I don't know what's out there to be able to be done, but that is something that I would like to see for our city. I have a friend that teaches swimming lessons in Somerville for all ages and all people. And I just think that would be something that would be nice to have for a city and maybe be one of the first around to be able to have something like that. The other goal of mine is, and I've done some research, a playground for persons with all disabilities. I actually saw it on TV one day and it touched my heart, and I did a little bit more research. And I know there are federal grants, which will take quite a bit of work to be able to fund it if it's a possibility to be done. But a lot of the bigger cities are doing it. I don't know if it's possible for us because we're a smaller town, but it would be nice to locate something like that over by the rec department and near the police department so that it could be used for persons with all disabilities. And that would be something that I would like to work on. And when I talk about expansion, or if any other parts of the recreations need help, then I would like to work on that too.
Did you know that the city actually owns the swimming pool?
I do. I do know that.
You're talking about indoor pool?
I'm sorry?
You say, were you addressing the indoor pool?
A bigger pool.
Not necessarily indoor?
Well, it would be nice if it was indoor all year round. I mean, I'm from Ohio and we have those. The YMCA's and things like that to be used all year round. I just don't know how much money's there, Joel. I mean, I've got some pretty big dreams and like to see things happen.
Well, what I'm
but
saying is, you talk about an indoor pool at the rec building. However, as Mr. Glass indicated, when you, the city owns the pool.
Right.
That's open, so many months a year, so.
Right, I understand that. Okay.
Do you want mine?
I live there.
No, I asked her the question, but she didn't ask me. I'll tell you my dreams of expansion, because she was addressing the members of the city who want to expand recreation. But I do believe that we can expand recreation as far as our golf course is a good example. A lot of people don't know we own the city. I think we need to let people know we actually own the pool and the tennis courts. And you can be members as city residents. It would be great to enclose them and make that an indoor pool. However, the golf course is a great opportunity to have a building for recreation. It's a shame that my son, who goes to Stratford, has to go to Mount Pleasant for a prom. We have no place in Goose Creek to have any type of weddings or anything nice. We have a great council that passed the hospitality tax, 2%, who said they're going to generate about $1 million a year. So we know that's what they're proposing to generate. Let's look at doing some things with that money. I think that was passed, no real set what we're going to use it for. But let's look at what we can do. Maybe we can enclose the existing pool. Maybe if we go out and actually advertise to the city of Goose Creek citizens, we own a pool. We'll generate more revenue by people joining the pool. We own a tennis court, and we can generate more revenue. We own a tennis court, and then we can do more things. But we have to generate revenue to do anything. We already having to borrow $7.5 million to do the 2 fire stations. So therefore, we got to make sure we generate some revenue so we can expand and do those things. And the best thing to do is sit down with you, Mr. Glass, and say, what are your dreams? Because you're the chairman of the Recreation Department. We need to work with you and say, what do you want? What are you hearing from the citizens of Goose Creek? And then we go from there.
I'm learning more about
Learning more about Goose Creek, I'll have to get to know that. He's up front, Bill, sorry.
I'm sorry, did you ask a question? Just let him go ahead.
Go ahead.
All of you kind of touched on the expansion of Goose Creek and businesses, realizing that you have to work under the auspices of the county and county fees and impact fees and so forth. What can you do and what will you do to attract new businesses?
I'm gonna let this one just run down the line here. Each one of y'all give it about 30 seconds. Appreciate it.
What I would like to do is we have a lot of organizations and we have a lot of groups. We have realtors, we have bankers, we have people that are in different professions that would be nice to have like a round table to be able to get some input from the city to find out what everyone, what their ideas are. I do believe we do need to work closer with Berkeley County. Mr. Fish is our representative to see what they can help us do for the city too. I do know a lot of business owners. I don't cook as much as I used to a long time ago, so we do eat out a lot. We support the restaurants in Goose Creek, and a lot of the business owners are very happy, and they've been very successful, with the restaurants. So it would be nice if we were able to get some more of those in. But we do need to work with a lot of people to help us do that. And like Kimo said, the economic development's been in place. They have consultants. And other than that, I'm not sure. Okay.
I agree. We need to look at what we can do. Currently, I'm working with Berkeley Electric Co-op, and I'm working with Santee Cooper to bring in some other industry into the community. I think we have to get our face in front of people. Now's the time. One of the things that if you watch, whenever there's an announcement or something, you see Riley and Bill Collins and Keith Sumley, they're there. We need to be out there in front so people know where Goose Creek is and they realize we do have places. Do we have a big possibility of bringing in a lot of industry? Not currently. We don't have the sites. We have 2 or 3 sites in Profield, which I know about specifically because I represent them, and we're looking at those sites in particular. But we have a hard road to hoe with that because Palmetto Park over there that Keith Sumley has is really, really hard to compete with. Can we get some small industries, some small businesses, some professional buildings? Absolutely, I think we can, but we got to get our face in front of them. And we have to go out and meet them. And that's what a lot of people on council do when we go to events. You rub elbows with Joe Daniels and Paul Campbell who know what's coming into the community. And you make sure you're in front of them. We have sat down and we thought we were members of the Restaurant Association. We did that. It's hard to get restaurants in here because of where we're located. We've got Alcoa on one side, that's 6,000 acres that nobody's going into. We've got the weapons station on the other side. So we kind of only have 50% coverage of where people come. People in the city of Goose Creek need a destination to go to, and that's where they go to eat. You know, they go to those places when they have a destination that they're going to, downtown, the mall, or whatever. We're not a destination location right now. You know, if we had something in the mall or something here, you'd probably get more restaurants and stuff like that. It's tough. It's really tough because we have. That's what is asked at every council meeting. 2 things: we need more restaurants and fix the intersection of 52 and 176. I mean, every time.
One of our strategic goals is interaction with others. That means county, state, other cities. So it's a goal that we're aware of and we work on. I think the people ask why we don't have restaurants. Well, I just don't. Apparently, we're not quite ready for it. Restaurant chains have specific demographics they're looking for, and we've been told we're not quite there yet. But what we can do, and I think we have been doing this, is we can, and I think it's a role of government, more so than recruiting businesses. I think the role of government is to create the environment where businesses want to come. And I think what we've done with, we're building a new fire station that's going to provide better public safety for businesses. We're looking at improving the water system, which will provide better fire protection capability for the city. That's a big thing for a new business that comes in, especially a big thing like a Walmart or Lowe's. Their insurance rates are very much affected by what kind of fire protection they have. And we're also, we spent money, almost $5 million trying to enhance our downtown area with our streetscaping and landscaping and enhancements along Highway 52. We're trying to make that look like a place that's special and businesses will come. And I think that's the role of government, not necessarily into the recruiting as much as just doing the basic things that will make businesses want to come.
Mark. Mr. Bates, I say one word: proactive. We have to be proactive. We have to go out there and partner with people and work with people and come up with a plan. You know, so many times we can say, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do this, but we actually got to be about doing something. So I think we got to be proactive and aggressive and go out there and do not what we've been doing because everything is not working. So we got to do something different. So we got to be proactive and be aggressive and go out there. I think we need to recruit. I think we need to go out there and recruit small business and maybe offer some type of incentive for them to come here. So we got to come up with something very inventive and be proactive and aggressive and do something different. That's what I believe. That's how you're going to get small business here. And you got to be small business friendly. You can't make it so cumbersome when it comes to the process of licensing that they don't want to come here. And I was, you want to make sure it's an easy process. And we need to have some type of working group that when they do come here, that we work with them and make sure they're successful. We have so many small businesses that come. Anybody who ever started a small business knows that that first year is a very challenging year, whether you fail or successful. So we need to have some type of working group that we can work with these people to make sure they're successful, not just bring them here, but make sure they're able to stay here.
Thank you very much.
Each of you for willing to volunteer additional years of service. I have a question regards to Goose Creek, and I will phrase it like this: the Torrance Crossroads planning phase and development phase just seems phenomenal. And I personally see that as a challenge to Goose Creek and getting people to look at properties in Goose Creek when you've got all the amenities in the world that they seem to be touting up there. And if I understand correctly, the two real estate agents, you both work with Westvaco. You know what they're capable of. And I believe they're leading that charge there. So my question particularly to the two real estate agents, Ms. Green, or Ms. Fletcher, and Mr. Essery, but open to anyone, is what are we going to do about the challenge that presents to draw people to Goose Creek and get them to want to live and work here and spend their dollars here versus going up there?
Yes, what can we do? I totally agree with you. That's going to be a challenge. And I think part of the reason we spent the $5 million Mark was talking about was so that the downtown, the triangle, as we would call it, didn't become that wasteland because everybody is moving to Carnes. I'll tell you, in my opinion, the even bigger gorilla in the room is Nexton down the road. That's going to, that could hurt Carnes Crossroads. Carnes is part of Goose Creek, so them going there is not a bad thing. But what we have to do is depend on what you do, John, and that's being an HOA, is helping the community like Crowfield and other communities be better at maintaining the values that are there.
And I apologize, I have confused Furnace Crossroad and Nexton as one big development.
Okay.
That's my mistake.
So are you putting them together? But anyway, let me just explain.
Challenge.
Yes, the challenges are going to be to get the businesses to come into Goose Creek, because there's going to be you have a blank slate at Carnes Crossroads, where when you come to Goose Creek, you're either going to have to tear down a building or you're going to have to work through the small plots that are there. So that will be a challenge for that. But I think we're up to that. I think we have the people on council, we have the staff. I mean, I will tell you, the people on council are good, but our staff is better. They are exactly what makes Goose Creek such a great place to live. The credit goes to us for hiring great staff. They have all the answers and can help us. But it is going to be a challenge, and keeping the values up in Crowfield will be like Mr. Stinson said. We need to make sure that golf course stays as nice as it is, because in the grand scheme of things, that golf course raises the property values in that area, in all of Crowfield, which raises the taxes, which makes the taxes in the other areas lower. So you have to keep that quality of life in that golf course in such a great shape that people want to live there and it's going to be better. There is going to be a challenge in that, and you're exactly correct. Carnes Crossroads, like I say, don't count them out, because they are part of Goose Creek. They are developing, they're selling, they're starting to come into their own now. But Nexton is that big gorilla in the room, and they've got more money than a lot of people, and they're going to make a real big splash down there.
As far as Crowfield is right now, the market's very strong. I've got a lot of clients that want to raise their children in Crowfield Plantation because of the trees. They've been there, 34 years. Westvaco was very instrumental in conservation. And you do have a lot of people that, my house was on the market one day, and I sold it to a young couple. I had one other client, it took me 8 months to get them a house. Crowfield is still very strong. There are good schools, and all of Berkeley County has good schools. So I don't want to say that, any school is better than the other school, but I think the market's very strong. Carnes Crossroads is very nice. Daniel Island Real Estate, they delayed that a little bit because of our economic, downfall that we had. That was delayed by a couple of years. I wish they would have kept on going because, I think that would have helped, but they're doing very well. But as far as the competition, I think each individual has to decide where they want to be and live. And Crowfield, I think, will remain strong. I don't have a crystal ball, but I do know right now in the past couple of years, it's remained very strong. And Nexton, like Kimo said, is going to be a contender. It's going to be maybe a different lifestyle than what Crowfield has, or any other areas in the city of Goose Creek. It's not just about Crowfield. We have a whole city that has a lot of houses in the city, whether they're $30,000 or whether they go up to whatever price range. It's all about all the houses in the city. And we have people moving in all the areas, and I'm sure Kimo does too. I think it's a very strong area, no matter where you find the city of Goose Creek. But I've been doing it a long time. I've been through I started in 1981 when the interest rate was 18%. I've been through the base closure. I've been through Hugo. And earthquake the other day, which was kind of minor. We had a little bit of earthquake before. But I believe in Goose Creek, so it's very easy for me to continue what I've always done.
Does Joe want to respond also?
Yes,
I think I agree with most of what they've said, but I think the thing we need to keep doing as a city is to do those things that we do best. Goose Creek is ranked one of the best places in South Carolina by a newspaper, a magazine, to raise children. And I know when people move somewhere, I moved here from Minnesota. The main thing to look at is what's it going to be like for your children, your family. We have good schools in Goose Creek. We have great recreation facilities. I don't know of anybody that's got better recreation facilities than we do in this area. We have good police department. We're always getting compliments on our police department. We're building new fire departments. Our fire department is equally excellent. So people look at all that stuff and you might not think they do, but that weighs a lot into when people move in, where they decide to locate. And if we keep up those basic essential services, do them well, I think people will continue to want to move to Goose Creek to live here.
Yes, I feel the same way. People who live in Goose Creek live there for a reason. They could live anywhere. I could have moved to Daniel Island, could have been downtown Charles, West Nashville. When you find a place that you like, we have that little that people are looking for. And as long as we maintain it, I think we can compete with any market. Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but I think as long as you keep that core amenities, it's just like what's going up in Fox Bay and all of Old 52. The area is booming. People are moving because they don't want to be. If you're looking at Nexton, that's going to be congested. You had 13,000 homes that are already congested. I wouldn't want to live there. I'm a country boy. So I think as long as we keep Goose Creek the way it is and manage our growth and bring in some small business, I think we'll still be able to attract people. And especially when the hospital is built. When we get that hospital, they get that mess straight out. When the hospital is built there, it's going to even attract even more people. And I think as long as we keep on the road, manage our growth, make smart decisions, keep Goose Creek the family-friendly city it is, people will still come.
Excellent. Well, I'll get back to you. I'll let you people that haven't done the question. We'll try to rotate it around. We're only 30 minutes. We got hours to go here. We got
I got a lot of questions. I'll stick with one right now. Okay, I'm confused. You said we spent like $5 million redoing downtown. And every time I talked to the mayor, he said, well, that wasn't our money. We got it from the federal government. Because I was arguing with him about sidewalks in Boulder Bluff. Now, do we have money or don't we have money? I mean, was that money from the federal government or was that our money?
Fair enough. And it would take somebody that's knowledgeable of the budget here in town to come up with that, but if you can give them an answer, that sounds like a fair enough question.
Well, that money is there, it's already, we've already paid for it. That money that came from tax increment financing, district, which is kind of a complicated, process, but it's tax money that was generated in this area. And the theory is that you set up a district, you try to enhance it, and then the additional tax that's generated from those enhancements where there's development, attracts development and increasing the tax rates, and that extra money is used. And that's what we did. We had a tax finance district that just for the past 15 years, it's just expiring this year. And we did that. We paid for that and some other things over the years with that money. But it wasn't federal money at all. It was local money.
And as much as we'd like to build those sidewalks and over the bluff, it's funds that couldn't be used for that, had to be used within that tax increment financing district. It wasn't something that we could do.
So the funds were earmarked and exactly had to be spent in that way. Another question to somebody. That's what, there you go. Get my exercise tonight. There you go.
I'm out, probably. I have a question for Councilman Coates and Councilman Peters, okay? Do you believe, and it's a yes/no question, do you believe that you become stagnant if you stay in one position too long?
Yes, no. Straightforward.
No.
No, he believes no. Sir? He believes no. They believe no. Easy enough. Straightforward question. I like it.
This question is all. Like, the opposite is true. You can become stagnant by moving around.
Okay. Question.
This question is also for the incumbents. What specific municipal project or endeavor are you currently working on as a council member that you want to complete or improve?
One for everybody. Heard it.
He said incumbents.
Well, I guess we're building a fire department, so I guess we're beyond that. We're looking for something beyond that. We need to decide how we're going to spend the hospitality tax. It's going to be started began being generated this year. So we need to decide how to do that. Again, I've got some ideas. We have to sit down as a group and decide how to do it. How we're going to spend that money. It has to be spent. It can't be spent for just anything. It has to be spent on things that have to do with recreation or tourism. So that limits it. But there are things that could possibly be done. What Mr. Stinson said about enhancements at their golf course might be a possibility. Expansion of the recreation center could be a possibility, and there's other things that could be. Again, we'll address that in our strategic planning when we go into that session. Another area, we know we need more fire departments after these two. Our plan calls for one over in Liberty Hall area and then one in Pines Crossroads, but we'll have to look, it's down the road. So we'll have to, if we want to do those, we've identified those as needs, but it's a matter of priorities and funding.
The one that I've been working on is the economic development part. We hired a consultant. We created an ad hoc committee of the council, myself, Mr. Phillips, and Mr. Franklin, and the EDAC, which is our Economic Development Advisory Committee. We're meeting with them. We had the last meeting was canceled due to the ice storm because we were going to hear some of the results he had. But it's actually see where we can go with economic development and growth in the city. Are there opportunities for us? I mean, where do our customers come from? He did that for us, and I don't have those numbers here, but we'll have a complete plan in place at some point, and I'm sure we'll go even farther than that with this consultant. I think we're spending $34,000 on this consultant. I believe that's the number, to kind of give us a framework of where we can go and what we can do, how we can grow the city in a way that doesn't make us like North Charleston, doesn't make us like Somerville. We've got to watch what we do, but we got to see what we can do. I mean, because we are in between some pretty impressive markets, with the Somerville market right there, and North Charleston where it is. What will work for us, and so that's the one I've been working on the hardest doing.
One more comment. I would like to see, we're building a new fire station, our new headquarters station, be over by the Public Works Center. We just broke ground on it a week or so ago. When we build that, we're going to move the headquarters station from Button Hall Road over there. We're going to have that piece of property there where that fire station is located. I would like, probably we're going to tear it down. The building has outlived its usefulness. I would like to see the city use that tract of land as an incentive to get something going in downtown area. We finished the downtown, improvements. I would like to see the city use that piece of property somehow to get a restaurant or some kind of business that will spur the development in our downtown, because that fire station is right in the middle.
That's okay. You can ask plenty of questions. What we're going to do, though, is we'll get a couple more questions out, and then we're going to give these folks about 2 minutes just to close up, kind of summarize what it is they're really thinking out loud, and then they're going to hang around for a little bit. Y'all can ask questions, wrap on one, pin them down to something you didn't want to pin them down in front of the whole crowd or something like that, and see how that goes. Maybe it'll help you know these people better. Let's go ahead. 2 more questions.
Y'all keep talking about the Rec Center and kids, because that's our
coming up as a kid. Why haven't y'all thought about something like Spanky's Fun Park or a putt-putt place like in Mount Pleasant? My kids are all grown, but my grandkids are coming, and I want to be able to stay in my city and take my grandkids here to a putt-putt place or a golf in Mount Pleasant, instead of driving all the way to Mount Pleasant or to Action Falls State. Y'all haven't thought about anything like that as long as y'all have been in city council? I mean, my kids have grown up here, and I'm just trying to figure out why I'm driving all the way there to do something, and y'all haven't thought about that.
Sounds fair enough. I haven't thought that. Real quick, yeah.
Well, I was knocking on doors yesterday, and I had a lady pose a question very similar to that. I assume we're not advocating that the city start a fun park, golf course, or Spanky's Fun Park. I wouldn't be for that. That's something for private business to do. But again, we need to create the environment for that kind of a business to come. There's so many things in our community nowadays to do that I'm not sure that businesses, again, like the restaurants, a business like that will do an economic analysis and determine where they're going to go. And they just have not chosen to come to speak for something like that. And I think that goes way outside the realm of essential services for the city to build something like that, or to even give incentives to bring something like that. Because an incentive would be money out of our pocket to go to something like that. And I just don't think that's, again, if we create the environment, they'll come, but as far as putting out money to do something like that, when we need more fire stations, we need more police protection, we need to hire more police officers probably in the future, we're going to need to man the fire station. I just think it's a matter of priorities that I wouldn't be for that.
I'll tell you, we have thought about all this. We've thought about dog parks, we've thought about skateboard parks, we've thought about building indoor pools. They're not, one, and we'd be more than happy to do it. It only takes money. And you tell us how much you want us to raise your taxes, and we'll be more than happy to build all those things. We talked with Mr. Glass there, who's the chairman, and we get that information from them. And we provide it as well. But that comes in our strategic plan as well. We include them in the strategic plan. So we see that. That's why we're talking about the second phase of the community center and the gymnastics center. That seems like that's the buzzword. I'm not necessarily saying that that's what we're going to do, because there's all kinds of things. I've had people tell me, why don't we create a bike trail from Wanamaker Park all the way to Cypress Gardens.
But I'm saying that's something to bring revenue into the city.
That's
something to create for the kids in our community, for them to stay in somewhere to go so they're not out on the street causing trouble, and that in turn, the city gains revenue from keeping them here. So.
Okay. Well, if it was so revenue intensive, somebody would be doing it right now in the city. I understand your want for that, because I've raised 3 kids here. Gymnastics, baseball, bikes, cars and trucks, you name it, that's what they did. And like I say, my goal was to get a new rec center so we had a better place for them to play than the Casey Center. Casey Center has been a wonderful building for the city. It's done a wonderful job, and we did extend it. That $50,000, what I was told, it extends that building like 10 years. I think that's a wonderful amount of space. But it only takes money to do those things, and we have looked at it. In our strategic plans, we've had the kids come tell us, we want a skate park. The biggest problem we've had, and we do summer programs with the rec center, the problem they have is getting those people there. We had in Casey Center, I think it was free for them to come, or $20 or something like that, but they couldn't get there. The parents wouldn't take it. They couldn't get back and forth. Now you're going to put a real liability if you want the city to start busing people around from all over the city.
Yeah, y'all can't come to an organization that wants to educate people on the Constitution and tell us what is your stance on the Constitution. How long is, I know 2 of you have obviously taken an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. I was wondering how long it's been since any of you have read it and seen what the actual constitutional limits on government should be, because we're talking about installing hiker-biker trails, which is all well and good, but I believe that those should be done by private enterprise, like was spoken a moment ago. Same thing with a skate park, those kind of things. I was wondering how where y'all stand on the city actually competing with business for dollars, whether the city should be earning money, making money, which means the government's going to continue to grow. Before long, we'll have a big government, as opposed to private enterprise, which should be paying taxes to the city, which is where the city should be getting their money from. What if y'all could address those kind of questions?
What is that?
Well, I will admit I've not read the Constitution recently, so I will admit that. As far as private business and the city, I think it's a very difficult thing to do, to expect the city to be in a private business. I know everyone would like to have an event building. My daughter is going to get married in a few months, and that is a very challenging department to run. If someone has an event building, you would have to have a full-time person to staff that. It would get very expensive to do something like that. I think that each individual should be able to have the right to make be as profitable as they can. I think there's a very fine line as far as the city trying to run a lot of things as far as businesses that they should not be in. And that's what I mean.
I think it's a great question. I think, let's see, I can't remember how long ago I was in 8th grade, because I think that's probably when I read the Constitution completely. It is a very fine line trying to determine what the government should be in and what we shouldn't be in. I think building hiker-biker trails, I'm pretty sure there's not many private industries or private companies that are going to build many of those. at least maintain them. I know West Waco built 15 miles of them in Crowfield, and then we turned them over to the homeowner association. And I guarantee John would love somebody else to take care of them, because they are expensive. Some of the things we do because that's what our constituents ask us to do, and I think that's who we represent. And I'm pretty sure all of those would probably say they believe in the Constitution too. I do believe in the Constitution. I won't say that I know it by heart. I'm sure you probably know it a whole lot better than any of them. But it's a fine line. It's hard to make those calls because we do intrude at times on private industry. And I know that's probably not some of the things we should do, but I think there are things that when it gets to garbage, water, I mean, you could probably privatize the police department to that respect, and the fire too, but I'm not sure you have as good a coverage as we do as a government.
Well, I think I have a copy of the Constitution on my dresser. The man gave me one a couple of years ago when he was running for some office. He had it about right. I've read it. It's hard. It's difficult reading, but it's got a lot of basis of our country. And yes, it's difficult to walk that line. I think there are things that people want that I don't believe are appropriate for government to get into. And I think I've mentioned a couple already, but we should. I believe the government should stay as small as it can be. We need to do things that people and businesses and corporations can't or won't do. It wouldn't be appropriate for them to do. That's what government should do, and no more.
I have to admit, I have not read the Constitution in a long time, but like I said, I took an oath to defend it. As far as businesses go, yeah, we shouldn't be real estate. We shouldn't be in a whole bunch of things. But we should make ourselves a city to the point where we can generate private business. And like I said, I want to grow small business because that's what we need to do in the city. We need to be proactive and aggressive and get small business. When I alluded to earlier about the concept of building a recreational place at the golf course, I got that idea from Troy Sanders, who's the manager. And his concept was not to sit and run in this per se. He has a great concept. That's long range stuff. But we ask ideas. I mean, brainstorming is ideas. All ideas are not good ideas. If you don't think about things, you never put them on the table. But I think government should not be intrusive on your life. But sometimes it is. Like I tried to put a deck on the back of my house, and I had to get an engineer to draw. I had to pay an engineer to design my deck because it was over 200 square feet, and it wasn't even attached to the house. That was what I had to do. Sometimes government does get into our private life, but I think we need to keep government as small as possible, and the role of government is to protect the people, and I think that's what we need to focus on. But we need revenue, like everybody knows we need money to do things. Anything you want to do, you need money. You want to do police protection, fire department, you got to have money. But how we generate that is have a city where we can entice small business to come in so the city is not involved in doing this.
Okay. There we go. I was looking for that last question. We'll do the statements here in a minute. We'll do some closing statements in a minute and give you guys a couple minutes. Go ahead.
You spoke, I think Mr. Phillips spoke of the demographic reasons as to why businesses don't want to come to Goose Creek. What are those reasons and how can you improve upon those reasons so that we can get businesses in Goose Creek?
When I said demographics, I believe I was talking about the restaurant issue, but I guess it applies to other businesses, any kind of business. Well, I think one thing, let's take restaurants. We've been told we don't have enough people that work here during the day, the lunch crowd. In other words, we don't have any big office buildings where people go to lunch, take their hour lunch and they go to lunch. Businesses like restaurants like Applebee's and TGI Fridays they depend on lunch crowd as well as evening. So, yes, people come home from work and they go out to eat, and they would go locally. But if we don't have the lunch crowd, that's the margin of profit. That's what we've been told. We need to get more people working in Goose Creek. Our vision statement for the city is a better place to live, work, and play. And, we get more places to work, good place where people can work good jobs at home or close to home. That simplifies your lifestyle and makes it a better quality of life, and then bring those kind of things in more. So that's what I was talking about, the demographics.
Oh, hey, that Beaver. This is Rudy's Beaver. I was trying to get everybody's attention. I'm trying to keep this thing moving here, and I really want to keep it moving. And I'd like for everybody to have a chance to ask some questions, but I really don't want to spend all night. I live in a whole other time zone. I have to drive about an hour to get home. So we want you to be able to discuss with these people one-on-one right here, with them right in front of you, as much as you can.
You have a statement, right?
Right. And is it a statement we need to make?
I just want to say, because we've become a country that thinks the federal government and our local governments are supposed to supply needs to the citizens. It's not the city government to provide entertainment for the children at tax dollars expense. That is not the function of the city government. He says that folks knocked on doors and people wanted the skateboards, the different entertainment for the children. That's not the role of the city government. And I just want to say that. It's frustrating.
I think there's a lot of folks that would concur with that, and leaders that understand that will probably do much better with their constituents if they let that be known. Another quick one?
Well, on that same topic about parks, playgrounds, recreation, things like that, it might take a city government, and as far as the Constitution and stuff, I don't know, I know what the Constitution says, and building parks and playgrounds is not a job of the federal government, it belongs to the states or we the people. We the people are represented by you, our city council. This is the lowest form of government, but it's our decision if we want to spend money to do that. Now, I can understand that it might take a major stakeholder, and maybe it's city government, to get a project going, to get the land and stuff, but I'm all in favor of user fees, where, and anyone that has some skin in the game, if you have to pay to use a facility, you're more than likely going to take care of it, rather than just
excellent point. And that's the type of issue that you need to grab these people on the side, one-on-one. This is what I think, and let them run with it. If they run with it, they're your person. If they don't run with it, you might be talking to a whole bunch of public folks. What I'm going to do is go ahead and hold it down to 2 minutes, and y'all can put whatever you want to in that 2 minutes as far as your feelings on government's role, your wannabe role, anything you want to tell us about for the next 2 minutes, and then we'll hang around for a while, and then you can do one-on-one inside. And if that works, I'll get one more chance with the microphone after they finish. But I love it.
About businesses and the growth of the city of Goose Creek. And one of the biggest things that you do have to do is technologically, you have to put yourself out so people know who we are, businesses know who we are. I know the city has spent some money to update their website, and maybe that website will need more. And there's other, I'm not the best in all the technologically department to do all that as far as knowing everything, but as building a city, you do have to do that to get businesses here. You also have to have a friendly city to work with people that want to bring their businesses here. And we have a good group of people on all different boards that work with people to bring the growth here. And I think that's been a big thing for everyone in the room. I will work very hard for you. I'm a team player. I believe in all the parts of the city of Goose Creek, and I will do my best to represent you. And if you have any questions afterwards, I'll be glad to answer them.
I guess first off, I'll just thank 912 for putting this together. This for me is been enlightening and a lot of fun. Let me clear a couple things up on the city taxes and such. Back in 1966, was it, Jerry? That's when the Parks and Playgrounds was created. And the money that it's not the general fund that goes into building the parks and all that kind of stuff. It is actually comes out of Goose Creek Parks and Playgrounds, which is a special purpose tax district that was created by the citizens here. You voted to have it. You wanted that tax collected from you, and I believe it's 13 mils. So
It's not 13, it's up to 13.
it's up to 13 mils. But that's what you voted back in 1966 to do. So it's not city general funds that go in there. The city is that conduit that helps them get grant money, more money, tourism money and stuff that helps them do those things. So we're not necessarily spending that money directly on that. That's probably the golf course we want the city to do. I want to see, and like I say, my project and what I've been doing on is economic development for the city. I do think we need some more growth in that area. That's what I'm looking for. That's where we're going. I think we need that mix, that growth that will help us go from residential to a little residential and commercial. I think that's going to happen. We do need to, like Deborah was saying, we need to be out in front of those people. We need to let people know where the city of Goose Creek is, what we have to offer. We do have a lot of exposure out there. Like I said, we're the best place to raise a family in the state. That's a great thing. I want it to continue that way. I want us to continue to grow in the method we have been with a little more out in front of everybody. Everybody knows who we are. I appreciate the time I've served on council. I hope you like what we've done so far. I hope I can do it for another 4 more years. I love this city. I've lived here for, like I said, raised my entire family here, most of my adult life here, and I don't plan on going anywhere. Hopefully in 3 or 4 more years we get to travel a little bit more once my daughter graduates from college. And that's around twice a lot.
Over the past 20 years, I mentioned we have completed 20 or more significant projects in Goose Creek without a tax increase or a property tax increase. We were debt free until about a month ago when we borrowed $7.5 million to build a new fire station. But I think our track record is, financial track record is phenomenal. Few governments can say that. That $7.5 million, I guarantee will be paid off in probably 5 years or less. That's what we've been doing all along. I've been out canvassing houses, knocking on doors, as I think everyone up here has. And the thing I ask people, how are things going in Goose Creek? What's your issues with the city of Goose Creek? And almost, I think on one hand, I can count the people who didn't say, I like the way things are going, just the way they are. Things are great in the city. Almost everybody says that. So, I think if someone's doing a good job, the only equitable and fair thing to do is to let them keep on doing it. And so I want to keep on doing it for another 4 years.
First, I want to thank everyone who came. You could have been somewhere else. But you felt it was important enough to come and listen to us. You felt it was important enough to be an informed voter. And I applaud each and every one of you for that. Because the only way you can vote, you have to be informed. You have to know what's going on. You have to know the person you're voting for. We don't just go in there blindly and just push a button. That is not what we should be about as American citizens. Because somebody fought hard, especially for me, to have a right to vote. So I don't take it lightly. And I appreciate each and every one of you coming out on a Monday, what is this? On a Monday night to look at little old me. And I appreciate that, and I also appreciate 912 Project for putting this together. When I got the call from Ms. Bates, I was elated because when I ran in 2012, I was asking, don't they do something like this? No, they don't do anything like that. How can you know who's running if you don't get to talk to them? We go around and knock on as many doors as we can, but we can't get to everybody. But I just want you, when you go to vote on April 8th, think about it. If you're happy with everything that's going on, keep on going with status quo. But if you want to change, if you want to go to a different direction, you need to make different decisions. You cannot continue to vote the same way if you want something different. If you want your spouse to treat you better and you tell them that they don't, then you got to make a decision. Do I stay with this spouse or do I leave? I'm saying, if you're okay, you know who to vote for. If you want a different direction, if you want some new thoughts, some new ideas, then you know which way to vote. I ask that you vote for me on April 8th. I will do my best to represent all citizens of Goose Creek. Remember, my team is 40,000 strong, and that are you, the citizens of Goose Creek. Thank you.
Now, like I said before, I never met a microphone I didn't like, so I really appreciate Bill letting me come down and play with this one. Bill, do you have any closing remarks?
Each one of you have a constitution before the week's out, I promise.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you very much for participating with this. And if I can see a show of hands, one question. Was this worthwhile?
Yes.
Thank
A
you.
little longer.
Well, on that subject of being a little longer, if you folks will please hang around and grab these folks one-on-one, you can get 3 or 4 people and gang up on them. They volunteered to come out here. It's your opportunity to talk to them, and please do that. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I sure appreciate it.